Hare Krishna. Namaste. Today we are going to celebrate Jagannath Yatra in Eastern Iowa Hindu Temple. The first is first 30 minutes is ritual activity. Priest is going to perform, and after that we'll have a 30 minutes discourse on Lord Jagannath and his pastimes. After that, we are going to take Lord Jagannath and Garuda Vahana inside the temple. Like Ratha Yatra, not like outside, but inside here in the temple. Thank you all for joining today. In few minutes, the procedure is going to start. Thank you.
It's 15. ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅದು ಇದಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒಬ್ರು ಈ ಕಡೆ ओम अपरावभर्तारं धातारं सर्वसंपदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयोरमाम्यहम् आपदावभर्तारं धातारं सर्वसंपदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयोरमाम्यहम् पवित्रपाणि प्राणानाम्य ओम भूः ओम भुवः ओम स्वः ओम महः ओम धनः ओम तपः ओम सत्यं ओम तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ओमापो ज्योतिरसोमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरो 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 श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किकेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि गुरुभ्यः तत्गुरुभ्यश्च नमो भागवतीमहि प्रणीमहे च तत्राध्यो दम्पती जगदाम्पती स्वशेषभूतेन मया श्रियैः सर्वपरच्छतैः विदातं प्रीतमात्मानं देवः प्रक्रमते स्मिजं शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये यस्य कृतवक्त्राभ्याः पारिषद्याः परिष्यतं विघ्नं निघ्नन्तु सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये हरिओं तत्सत् श्रीगोविन्दः अस्य श्रीभगवतो महापुरुषस्य महाविष्णोमनार्घ्यया प्रवर्धमानस्य अद्य ब्रह्मणः श्रीहृदयपरार्थे श्रीश्वेतवराहकल्पे वैवस्वतमन्वन्तरे कलियुगे प्रथमे पादे क्रौंसद्वीपे दमनकवर्षे गोतीर्थकण्ठे सप्तसागरपरिवृते मेरोः पश्चिमे पार्श्वे अस्मन्नवर्तमाने व्यवहारिकां चान्द्रमानेन प्रभवादिषष्ट्यादसंवत्सराणां मध्ये श्रीमते शार्वरीनामसंवत्सरस्य उत्तरायणे ग्रीष्मऋतौ आषाढमासे शुक्लपक्षे सप्तम्यां शुभतिथौ वासरस्थो स्थिरवासरयुक्तायाम् उत्तरफल्गुणीनक्षत्रयुक्तायां श्रीशुभनक्षत्र शुभयोग शुभकरणाय वङ्गुण विशेषेण वसिष्ठायामस्यां शुभतिथौ श्रीभगवदाज्ञा श्रीमन्नारायणप्रीत्यर्थम् अस्मिन् दिवसे ओम पुरी जगन्नाथ स्वामी रथयात्रांगभूतं या श्री बलराम जगन्नाथ स्वामी समेत सुभद्रा बलराम जगन्नाथ स्वामी समेत जगन्नाथ स्वामिनः रथयात्रांग अस्मिन् दिवसे अस्मिन् देवालये श्री गरुडयात्राख्यम् आचार्यमुखेन कारयिष्ये तदङ्गं यावत् ध्यान आवाहनादि षोडशोपचार पूजाख्यं जगन्नाथ स्वामिनः पूजाख्यम् आचार्यमुखेन कारयिष्ये ऋतोस्मि करिष्यामि अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीमते बोधाय नमः दिशिकाय नमः श्रीमत्पराशरादिसरगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीमते ब्रह्मणे नमः श्रीमते विश्वक्सेनाय नमः श्रियै नमः श्रीधराय नमः लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् अस्मद्देशिकस्मदीयपरमाचार्यशेषान् गुरुन् श्रीबोधायनदेशिकं शमदमाद्युषोपदं चन्मयन् पूज्यान् भागवतान् पराशरमुखां शिष्टं वशिष्टं तेजं सहचरं नारायणं समाश्रये सव्यं पादं प्रसार्या श्रुतिदुर्धरं दक्षं कुञ्चयित्वा जानोन्यादा सव्येतरवचं नागभोगिरदाय पश्चाद्बाहुद्भजना प्रतिपरिशमराधारीं शङ्करक्रे देवी भूषादिजुष्टो धनीतो जगदां शर्म वैकुण्ठनाथः कौशिकान्वसम्मुतं श्रीगोपालपदार्चकं गोपालाचार्यभट्टार्यं सर्वाचार्यमहं भजे कौशिकान्वसम्मुतं रामचन्द्रपदान्वितं सङ्कर्षणराघवार्यं परमार्यमहं भजे कौशिकान्वसम्मुतं पाञ्चरात्रार्थकोविदं सम्पत्कुमारभट्टार्यं स्वाचार्यमहमाश्रये ओं नमो नारायणाय सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि सकले ब्रह्मणायातमास्मभ्यं सर्वभूतेभ्यो ददामि यतत्वदं स्थिते वत्सस्वस्ते शरीरे सत्वतः भवसाम्ये स्थिते सिद्धाक्षरूपं ओम अनाशक्तिं महां कुर्माय नमः कुर्मकलान्ते नमः अनन्ताय नमः ओम भूगे नमः धर्माय नमः धर्माय नमः ज्ञानाय नमः ओम अवैराग्याय नमः वैराग्याय नमः महेश्वर्याय नमः महेश्वर्याय नमः ओम ऋग्वेदाय नमः यजुर्वेदाय नमः सामवेदाय नमः धर्मवेदाय नमः वैघारिकंकाराय नमः ओम तेजस्कंकाराय नमः भूतिंकाराय नमः सत्त्वगुणाय नमः रजोगुणाय नमः तमोगुणाय नमः मृतुभ्ये नमः ओम अद्यो नमः तेजसे नमः वायुवात्मने नमः जीवात्मने नमः तदपरिघ्मण्डलाय नमः तदपरिवायुमण्डलाय नमः तदपरिसूण्डलाय नमः तदपरिसूर्यमण्डलाय नमः तदपरिद्वादशाय कर्णिकाकेसरं सम्पूर्णावृतश्री पुण्डरीकाय नमः ओम श्री सुभद्रा बलराम समेत श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामिने नमः ध्यायामि ओम सभ्यं पादं प्रसार्या शतदुर्धनं दक्षं कुञ्चयित्वा जानोन्यादा सव्येतरवचं नागभोगिरदाय पश्चाद्बाहुद्भयेन प्रतिपरिशमने धारयन् शङ्खचक्रे देवी भूषादिजुष्टो धीरो जगदां शर्म वैकुण्ठनाथः ओम दामोदराय विद्महे रुक्मिणी वल्लभाय धीमहि तन्न श्रीकृष्णः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सुभद्रा बलरामा सहित श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामिने नमः। ध्यायामि ध्यानं समर्पयामि अपायामि आसनं समर्पयामि रत्नसिंहासनं समर्पयामि आगच्छागच्छत्यवाक्यध्यक्ष ॐ नमो बुद्धाय विद्महे रुक्मिणीवल्लभाय धीमहि तन्नः श्रीकृष्णः प्रचोदयात्। रुक्मिणी श्री सुभद्रा बलराम सहित श्री प्रसन्न जगन्नाथ स्वामिने नमः। ध्यायामि ध्यानं समर्पयामि अवाहयामि आसनं समर्पयामि रत्नसिंहासनं समर्पयामि आगच्छागच्छत्यवाक्यध्यक्ष अवात् श्री बलराम सुभद्रा सहित श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामिने नमः। ॐ पादारविन्दयोः पाद्यं पाद्यं समर्पयामि पादारविन्दयोः पाद्यं पाद्यं समर्पयामि। ओमापोविष्टामयोगुपस्थानबोद्धेरसादना महेरणाचक्षुषे योगश्यपदमूढसस्तस्य भाजयते हरः कुशधीरवमातरः तस्मातरङ्घमामवो यस्य क्षया जन्मत आपोधनयतातरः औपचारिकस्नानं समर्पयामि औपचारिकस्नानानन्तरं वस्त्रार्थं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि ॐ वेदसुप्तसमायुक्त्यग्नसंसान्विते सर्वर्णप्रभेदेव वाससि प्रतिगृह्यता वस्त्रार्थं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि यज्ञोपवीतं परमं पवित्रं प्रजापते सहजं पुरस्तात् आयुष्यमधिकं प्रतिमं च शुभ्रं यज्ञोपवीतं फलमस्तु तेजः यज्ञोपवीतार्थक्षतां समर्पयामि आभरणार्थक्षतां समर्पयामि दिव्यश्रीपरिमलसन्धनां समर्पयामि गन्धद्वारां दुरादर्शा नित्यपुष्टां गिरीशनीः ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामोपक्षये श्रियं परिमलसन्धनां समर्पयामि ॐ सचत्रजस्मृतयं तस्मै सत्रक्षत्रं सत्रं वजुवता चन्द्रं रयं गुरुवीरं बृहन्तं चन्द्रचन्द्रावृधृणदेव स्व ॐ हरिद्राचूर्णं समर्पयामि सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सद्धार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते कुङ्कुमसिन्दूरान् समर्पयामि पुष्पैः पूजयामि ॐ केशवाय नमः ॐ नारायणाय नमः ॐ माधवाय नमः ॐ गोविन्दाय नमः ॐ विष्णवे नमः ॐ मधुसूदनाय नमः ॐ त्रिविक्रमाय नमः ॐ वामनाय नमः ॐ श्रीधराय नमः ॐ श्रीकेशाय नमः ॐ पद्मनाभाय नमः ॐ दामोदराय नमः ॐ वासुदेवाय नमः ॐ सङ्कर्षणाय नमः ॐ प्रद्युम्नाय नमः ॐ अनिरुद्धाय नमः ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः ॐ अदौक्षराय नमः ॐ नारसिंहाय नमः ॐ अच्युताय नमः ॐ धनार्दनाय नमः उपेन्द्राय नमः ॐ भरते नमः ॐ श्रीकृष्णाय नमः ॐ मत्स्याय नमः ॐ कूर्माय नमः ॐ वराहाय नमः ॐ नारसिंहाय नमः ॐ वामनाय नमः ॐ भार्गवरामाय नमः ॐ दशरथरामाय नमः ॐ बलरामाय नमः ॐ श्रीकृष्णाय नमः ॐ कल्गिरे नमः ॐ श्रीं श्रियै नमः ॐ भूं भूम्यै नमः ॐ नीनीडा नमः ॐ गां बोधाय नमः ॐ सर्वालङ्कारभूषिताश्री ॐ सुभद्रा बलराम समरश्री प्रसन्न जगन्नाथस्वामिने नमः नानाविध परिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि धूपमाघ्रापयामि ॐ गन्धद्वारां दुरादर्शा नित्यपुष्टां गिरीशणीः ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपक्वये श्रियम् ॐ चतन्तदक्षिणतोर्षवहेभ्यः इन्द्रोदयराघोरिराघोरमराधराधस्सुराधजते धूरसदूर्वरूपं तं धूर्वतं योऽस्मान् धूर्वति तं धूर्वयं वयं धूर्वामस्तुं देवानामसे दशाङ्गं दुग्लो अग्निमीढे पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य देवभृत्पथम् होतारकं रत्नाधाताभं हरि ॐ ईषेत्पोर्षेत्वा भाजवस्तोपाजवस्तथेवो वस्सविता प्रार्पयतु श्रेष्ठतमाज कर्मण आप्यायध्वमग्निया देवभागमूर्धस्वते प्रजापतिरनभीपायक्ष्मान्मावस्तेन ईशतमागशकंशो रुद्रस्सहेतिः परिभो वृणक्तरुद्रवास्मन् भोपतो स्यात् बह्वीर्जमानस्य पशून् पाहि हरि ॐ अग्न आयाहि वीतजे घृणानो हव्यदातजे निहोतारसत्सपरिहिषि हरि ॐ षण्णो देवीरवस्त्रज आपो भवन्त भीतजे शय्योरवस्त्रबन्धुरः ओमित्यग्रे व्याहरेत् नमैति पश्चात् नारायणात्युपरिष्टात् ओमित्येकाक्षरं नमैति द्वेऽक्षरे नारायणायेति पञ्चा अक्षराणि एतद्वै नारायणस्याष्टाक्षरं पदं यो वै नारायणस्याष्टाक्षरं पदमध्येति अनभवभ्रमः सर्वमाजरेति विन्दते प्राजापत्यकं राजस्पोषङ्घौपत्यं ततो मृतत्वमश्नुते जिति य एवं भेद इत्युपनिषत् ओमिच्छामौळी महाभागं मृगवीरं महाबलं गजेन्द्रमहधायान्तं रामं चित्रामृतानहं तं दृष्ट्वा शत्रुहन्तारं महर्षीणां सुकाभं बभुवहृष्ट्वा वैदेही भर्तारां दृशस्पद तासामाविरभूच्चोरीस्वरभानुकाम्बुजः पीताम्बरधरसृग्भिः साक्षात् मन्मथमन्मथः एष नारायणश्रीभान् क्षीरार्णवनिकेतरः नागपर्यङ्कम् उत्सृज्य त्यागतो मुदनापुरीं वैकुण्ठेतपरे लोके श्रिया सार्थं जगत्पतिः आस्ते विष्णुरचन्ध्यात्मा भक्तैर्भागवतैः सह मायावी परमानन्दं त्यक्त्वा वैकुण्ठमुत्तमं स्वामी पुष्करणीतीरे रमया सह मोदते गदा पुनः शङ्करधाङ्कल्पगद्वचारविन्धाङ्कुशभद्रलाञ्छनं त्रिविक्रमत्पच्चरणापदन्मदीयमूर्धानामलङ्करिष्यते अखिलभुवनस्ते जन्मस्ते भुङ्गारलीले विरुतविपुतभूतभ्रातरक्षैकदीक्षे श्रुतिसुरसविदीप्ते ब्रह्मणे श्रीनिवास भूतमुरुस्मुन् शेपुषी भक्तिरूपः वेङ्कटाद्रिसंस्तारं ब्रह्माण्डे नास्ति किञ्चनः वेङ्कटेशमो देवो न भूतो न भविष्यति वेङ्कटाद्रिसंस्तारं ब्रह्माण्डे नास्ति किञ्चनः वेङ्कटेशमो देवो न भूतो न भविष्यति ॐ सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वशम्भुवं विश्वन्नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वतः परमा नित्यं विश्वन्नारायणकं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तद्विष्णुर्वजीवते पतिं विश्वस्यात्मेश्वरकं शाश्वतकं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायणपरो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणः परः नारायणपरं ब्रह्म तत्त्वन्नारायणः परः नारायणपरो ध्याता ध्यानं नारायणः परः यच्जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयते विव अन्तर्बहिस्तत्सर्वं तत्सर्वं नारायणः अन्तर्बहिस्तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमभ्यजं कविकं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वशम्भुं पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशकं हृदयं चाप्यतोमुखम् अतो निष्ज्ञातिपतस्यान्तेनाभ्यामुपरितिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाते विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततकं शिलापुस्तलं भस्याकोशसन्निभं तस्यान्ते ससर्गं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं तस्य मध्ये महारग्निर्विश्वाच्चद्विश्वतोमुखः सोऽग्रविग्विभजन्तस्तन्नाहारमधरग्निः तिर्यगूर्ध्वमदश्यायी रश्मयस्ततश्च सन्तता सन्तापयस्सन्देहमापाततलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अणियोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्था विद्युर्लेखे भवास्वराट् नीवार्षूकवत्तन्मे पीताभा आस्वातस्ततनुपमा तस्याशिखाया मध्ये परमा आत्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्मस्य शिवः स हिस्सेन्द्रस्वकुमरः परमस्वराट् मृतकं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गळम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात्। ओम श्री सुभद्रा बलराम समेत श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामिने नमः। वेदोक्तमन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि। जगन्मोहन दिव्यमङ्गल विग्रह देवदेवोत्तम देव गंभीर देवता सर्वभौम श्रीमदखिलाण्डकोटि ब्रह्माण्ड नायक जय विजयी भव दिग्विजयी भव। मङ्गलनीराधनं सन्दर्शयामि। नीराधनमन्त्र मध्ये मध्ये आचमनं समर्पयामि। आचमनीयान्तं नानाविध परिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। रक्षां धारयामि। कदलीफलं निवेदयामि। ओम भूर्भुवस्सुवः प्रतन्वा सत्यं सत्यावृञ्जयामि। अमृतवस्तो मृतोवस्तनमसि स्वाहा। हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। सुवर्णपुष्परत्नां समर्पयामि। सर्वराजोपचारार्थे मङ्गलनीराजनं सन्दर्शयामि। ओम तद्विष्णोः परमं पदकं सदा वक्ष्यन्तसूरजः दिवीवदक्षुराततं तद्विप्रासो विपन्यभूताढ्यभागं सत्समन्थत। विष्णोर्यः परमं फलं पर्याप्य अनन्तराया सर्वस्तोमोदिहात्रमुत्तममहद्भवति। सर्वस्याप्यै सर्वस्य दिव्यै सर्वमेव तेनाप्नोति सर्वं जयति। मङ्गलनीराधनं सन्दर्शयामि। नीराधनन्त्र मध्ये मध्ये आचमनं समर्पयामि। आचमनीयान्तं नानाविध परिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। रक्षां धारयामि। ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ. ಖಾಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ತಿರುಗಿಸಿ कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा
Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana 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 Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira
Thank you all so much for joining us online, and also few devotees who have volunteered to come to the temple and render service to the Lord in person. We know priest is already doing that every day, even in this kind of a pandemic situation where we are all struggling with corona, and then we are maintaining social distance and all those things. Thank you all so much once again for spending your valuable time Saturday morning watching live and trying to render service to Lord by hearing about His pastimes. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunnilipannena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. He Krishna Kamya Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Namami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaurabhatta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once again, thank you all so much. Nilachala-nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra-subhadrayam Jagannadaya Pataye Namaha. Nilachala-nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra-subhadrayam Jagannadaya Namo Namaha. The meaning of this sloka is, I offer my humble prostrated obeisances to Eternal Supreme Lord Sri Jagannath, the super soul of all living entities, who resides with his divine elder brother Sri Balabhadra and little sister Subhadra in the most holy abode of Nilachala, Puri, which is in Nitya Vaikuntha. Thank you all so much once again. And then today, Jagannath Radha Yatra always have two aspects or two things. That the first thing is all the preparations that we do, like how we are going to conduct the Radha Yatra, what kind of food items that we are going to present to the Lord as prasadam, how we are going to decorate the Ratha, which devotee is going to do what kind of service, like that. That is one aspect of this. With respect to this, I want to offer my humble respects and thanks to the Temple EC Committee for conducting this Rath Yatra, even in this situation, and trying their means, and the planning started 10 days before, how to do it in such a way that all the devotees who could not come here also can get mercy of the Lord. So that is the first part of it. And the second part of it is the substance and in which mood the devotees who are serving the Lord, who are pulling the Ratha, should have. That we should all try to pull the Lord on the chariot of our love into our hearts. That should be our goal. We perform all the religious activities, rituals. That is one aspect. Lord gets pleased by that. But also the second aspect is the mood. How do we serve the Lord? So I know all of you who have assembled here and those who are watching online might have heard numerous times the pastimes of Lord Jagannath. And some of you who live in Odisha might be knowing Lord better, many pastimes of the Lord. So even then, today we all are going to do a recap of the pastimes of the Lord Jagannath, so that we all can absorb those pastimes in us. So our mood when listening to these pastimes, because Lord's pastimes are always ever fresh. But since we are not at that level of relishing Lord's pastimes every time as ever fresh, sometimes we may feel like, I already heard them. But we can all grow a little bit above and try to listen to it in full observation, trying to bring Lord in our hearts. Because when Parikshit Maharaj was hearing to Bhagavatam, even though he was present during that time, when Sukadev Goswami was narrating some of the pastimes of Lord Krishna's childhood, he was kind of worried when he was explaining the pastime of Putana. Sukadeva Goswami was a little bit worried, what is going to happen to Lord. That means he was hearing as if he is hearing it the first time. Even though he was present with the Lord, he knows the Lord, but he was hearing it as well, as it is happening now. So if we all can try to imitate that mood, not like imitate, get inspiration and see as if like, we try to absorb the Lord into our heart, then these pastimes we can relish. Um, so one more thing, when I was saying we need to pull the Lord on the chariot of our love into our heart. But most of us might be thinking like, it is very not all the time when we see the Lord, not all the time when we come to serve the Lord, we have that mood of love, unconditional love towards the Lord. And Bhagavad Gita explains that when devotees approach Lord, they approach out of, like, you can broadly classify them into four categories, like, out of fear. Some of us might be mostly out of fear. We come to the Lord, we approach the Lord because if I don't go pray to the Lord, maybe something not good going to happen to me. So out of fear, we approach the Lord. And the second category is like out of desire, because we all are having desire in, I want Lord to fulfill this desire, that desire. That is okay, because Bhagavatam says, Akama sarvakamaka mokshakama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Whether one is without desire or desirous of all fruitive results or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Lord. So Bhagavatam approves that. Even Bhagavad Gita says in chapter 7, Krishna says that four kinds of people approach me. So it is approved by the Lord to approach him with a desire, to fulfill desire. And there will be a third category of people. This is not my classification. This is the classification given by the scriptures. There is a third class of classification who come to the temple with a duty mindedness. Like, Krishna or Lord Narayana or any other devata has done so much for me. They have already given me a good life, good, everything good is happening in my life. I come here to express as a duty, to express my gratitude to the Lord. And the fourth kind of people come to the temple or approach the Lord out of unconditional love. They don't really desire anything from the Lord. They don't have fear of anything. They approach the Lord out of unconditional love. So we can see the devotees mentioned in Bhagavatam like gopis and cowherd boys. They always used to approach Lord out of unconditional love. They didn't really desire anything from the Lord. So that is the purest form. That is the highest level of approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana or a Lord. So let us all try to develop that unconditional love towards the Lord when we are pulling the cart today. In another 20 minutes, we'll try to pull the Lord. And those of you who are watching online can have that mood, even though you're not there physically here, you can have that mood. And then we can pull with love, unconditional love to the Lord. So some of us, even I used to have this doubt when I was initially starting my devotional service. How do I develop love for Lord? Because that was never told to me. How do I develop? Like most of the time, we know like, okay, you need something, you pray to Lord, Lord is going to fulfill for you. But how do I develop love for Lord? So this is some question when anybody asks me and I find the answer in scriptures. Or anything like when we love someone, like let's say I have my daughter is there on the road and she was alone and she needs some help. When somebody helps her when I'm not around, then I show a lot of gratitude to her, a lot of gratitude to that particular person who helped me because he has done a favor to me. So to love Lord, we should know about Lord. How do we develop that love to the Lord? So most of the times we are not able to develop that love to the Lord because we are unaware of all the things that Lord do to us in our life. We as jivas, all of us, irrespective of women, men, any living entity, like 8.4 million species, we are all jivas, soul, atma, living entities, we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So most of the times when we approach God, or when we, at times we feel that love to God, then we'll say that God is great. But not all times we will be able to put in words, how is God great? Like we see the caption many places, like God is great. But if we ask, or if somebody asks me also, how is God great? I can only put in words with incidents that happen in my life. Like God is great because He has protected me from something, or God is great because He has done this to me, He has done that to me. So it is still in this, it is still very limited. We will be able to comprehend how great Lord is with respect to our experiences, the incidents that happen to in our life and in this particular life. But Supreme Lord is beyond that, beyond this life, beyond this material world. But fortunately or unfortunately, we don't know most of the time about the Lord. So that's why we don't develop that love towards the Lord. So today I try a little bit to bring from the scriptures and from the previous Acharya's lectures to glorify Lord Jagannath, Lord Purushottam, so that when we are pulling the cart, when we are performing the Ratha Yatra, we can have that move, we can show that gratitude, that love towards the Lord. So the real purpose of approaching God is not always to fulfill our desires. At times we have to purify our desires also and ultimately connect ourselves. We as jivas are part and parcels of the Lord. Lord can give us everything. Lord can give us everything. All anything in this entire material universe, Lord can give us. But Lord wants to give Himself to us. But we don't seek that. We don't seek that. We don't seek Lord, but we seek everything else which Lord gives. But Lord is ready to give Himself. He's so when we approach the Lord with unconditional love, He connects to us, and then we in return can relish His unlimited love. That connection to Lord helps us when we are praying to Lord, when we can establish that connection to Lord. That connection to Lord helps us even in the material world. Because right now in this pandemic situation, everybody is going through a lot of anxiety, stress to do anything. We don't know what to do, what not to do. So when we can make this connection to Lord, and when we render our prayers to Lord, we will get a composure. We'll get a composure. What kind of a composure? That I cannot control the things which are not in my hands. So what we do with those things which are not in control of my hands, we hand over that to the Supreme Lord. Because He has control of all the material and spiritual worlds. So we hand over the things that are not in our control to the Supreme Lord, and I can focus on the things that are in my control and render them with a lot of focus, and take care of them. Then Lord can take care of the things which we are not in control. And the connection that we made to Lord by doing the devotional service to the Lord. So when it comes to devotional service, Bhagavatam explains 9 kind of devotional service, like hearing, chanting, deity worship and all. So we are going to do one type of devotional service today, that is pulling the Lord, the all merciful Lord. So when we do these kind of services to Supreme Lord, we make that connection to the Lord, and we derive that strength from the Supreme Lord to keep us composed, to keep us stable in these kind of situations, and establish that connection and derive that eternal happiness. Because we as jivas are eternally Sat Chit Ananda. But we forget that when we come into material world, we think that I am this body, so everything this related to this body is one and all. Like, this is something I have to do. But we forget our connection with the Lord. So we try to do that. So how do we do that? From where do I hear about the Lord? So we have to hear from scriptures. We have to hear authoritatively from the scriptures under the guidance of gurus, and we read, we know about the Lord. So I'm going to do the same thing with my Guru's mercy and all the senior devotees' mercy. I'm going to bring from Skanda Purana about Lord, the pastimes of Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath is eternally existing. So for those of us who don't know that, there is a material universe, material world, and there is a spiritual world. So Supreme Lord Narayana, Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality God of Godhead Krishna, they are existing eternally. So they are existing eternally in spiritual world, and when they have to perform an avatara in this material world, Lord just comes down and he performs his pastimes and he goes back. So similarly, Purushottam, Lord Purushottam is existing eternally in in spiritual world. But he comes down as Leela, as Virya Purushottam in Satya Yuga, as Lord Narasimha. He comes to the material world as Lord Narasimha. And in Dwapar Yuga as Lord Krishna. And in Treta Yuga as Maryada Purushottama. He's called as Maryada Purushottama and he's Lord Rama. And in Dwapar Yuga, Leela Purushottama. So he comes down to this material world. But eternally, he's existed as Purushottama. So this particular Purushottama Kshetra, right now which is Puri, has many names like Purushottam Kshetra, Sri Kshetra, and then Bhuswara. So it has many names. So I will try to speak something about the Purushottam Kshetra, about Lord Jagannath, and then what is that to this Rath Yatra Lord is trying to manifest, or what we can get from that. So these 3 points I will focus. So this is something Jaimana Rishi is speaking in Skanda Purana. Many Puranas have spoken about Lord Jagannath. Matsya Purana, Markandeya Purana, many Puranas have spoken, but this particular pastime that I am speaking is from Skanda Purana. Jaimani Rishi is explaining to the sages. So he speaks about the creation, the primary creation that is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. Like he does the primary creation. He as Mahavishnu, like from his, when he inhales and exhales from his pores, multiple universes come. And then he glances at Prakriti, material universe, and then impregnates with all the jivas that are not edible. So we might be thinking that everybody is here. Jivas, living entity souls, 2/3 of jivas are in spiritual world. Only 1/3 of the jivas are here. And at the time of the primary creation, when he is impregnating the material nature, Lord Mahavishnu impregnates the souls and he puts exactly the karma of those souls, the karma, the desires, because they all have went into him in the previous dissolution. So when the creation happens again, he puts them all with the exact karmas and when those should start. And then he enters into all these universes as Garbhodaksayi Vishnu. And we all know there are two kinds of things. So when he enters into each universe as Garbhodaksayi Vishnu, from his navel comes Brahma, and Brahma, as soon as he comes, he doesn't understand what to do. He does tapasya, austerity, and then Lord enlightens him through his heart and says that you have to start the secondary creation. So Brahma starts the secondary creation. Brahma doesn't have all the ingredients to create the creations. That is all provided by the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu, and then Brahma starts the secondary creation. So when Brahma starts the secondary creation, Brahma is the first jiva in this material world. So right now we know, like even the scientific theories are also saying there are multiple universes and all. So Brahma is the first living entity in any universe. So when Brahma does the tapasya, the austerity, to perform his duty, for a second he starts worrying, he starts crying, like, why Lord, you have given me this responsibility of creating these all jivas in this material world, whatever it is. Like, Brahma is in the topmost planet. We know that material universe has 14 planets. 7 up, higher planets, where the jivas there are better than us, better than humans. They have better capabilities, they have better life, they have longer life. They have better ways of enjoying their life. So there are 6 planets down which have more lesser facilities than us. So we are in the middle, human beings. So Lord Brahma cries, like, why are you entitling me with this responsibility of creating this material universe where I know that the living entities are going to suffer. So when we say that the living entities are going to suffer, most of us might be thinking that no, 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 I'm having a very comfortable life. I have whatever I desired for. Or some of us might be saying that, I don't have any desires, I don't have any expectations in my life. But irrespective of whether we have any desires or expectations or not, the nature, the mandate, you can say, the mandate of this material world is that all of us have has to go through this four: birth, death, disease, old age. And some of us will have painful situations in all these things. And there is also three kinds of miseries all the living entities has to go through. Not just the human beings. All the living entities has to go through those three kinds of miseries that are Adi Bhautika, the miseries that are inflicted by other living beings. So most of the times we will be hurt by somebody, or something else will cause us. So Adi Bhautika is the miseries that are inflicted by other living beings. And Adi Adhyatmika, miseries that are inflicted by our own body and mind. Our own body sometimes doesn't cooperate with us. We will have this pain, that pain, and as we are going into the old age, we won't be as energetic as we are before. Or there will be lot of kind of diseases by which we will be suffering. So that is Adhyatmika. And there is one more which is completely not in our control, that is Adi Dhaivika, the natural calamities and disturbances that which we are happening. Like the smallest germ is like kind of what do you say, like is has brought the whole universe into halt. So these kind of miseries nobody can escape. So Brahma, being the first living being, being in fully knowledge, he understood that I'm going to do this creation, but once I do this creation, all living entities have to go through this. And how do they get this? How, do they have any relief? Like when they are going through this, because he's the he's the he's the first father for all of us. Like as a father, he has a natural compassion towards us, and he said, is there anything that they can get relief from? So he goes and asks Supreme Lord Narayana, and then Narayana tells Lakshmi Devi to explain to him. Then Lakshmi Devi explains to him, Mother Lakshmi explains to him that there is one place in this material universe, not in the higher planets, in this material universe, there is one place which is not affected by any dissolution, which is where the Lord resides, the Supreme Lord resides, the Purushottama resides there. So there is one place called as Purushottama Kshetra. And she glorifies Purushottama Kshetra. I will only bring 2 or 3 points. I won't bring all the points because I think we only have 30 minutes. So she explains to Lord Brahma that about Purushottama Kshetra, which is the Odisha right now. Mother Lakshmi explains that this particular place, like whoever lives in this place are not just mere mortals. So we all know, Bhagavad Gita also explains that whoever has taken birth has to die. The only thing that is certain in our lives is birth and death. Those two are certain. Sometimes old age and disease may not be certain because some of the jivas we see, they leave the body as soon as they did. But the two certain things in our life are birth and death. So she says that anybody who is in this Purushottama Kshetra are not just mere mortals. They are associates of the Lord. So we all know, Bhagavatam repeatedly explains that whenever Lord comes down to perform a pastime, he comes with his associates. So Bhagavad Gita says, Janma karma chame divyam. So Lord's actions and Lord's birth are transcendental or divine. So let me focus a little bit on this word transcendental. Transcendental means above the modes. What are modes? Sattva, Raja, Tamas. All of us, 24 by 7, are influenced by these modes. These are like these strings that pull the jivas. When the mode of goodness is very good, I do service to Lord. I will be behaving very good. I will be rendering service to God. I will be doing a lot of charities, a lot of good things I'll be doing. When mode of passion is very prominent in me, I will be anger, I will be lusty, I will be very greedy. I want this, I want that. How much ever I achieve, not enough. I want still more. I want everything. And we see that often, like many times, even though we have enough, we want to keep more. We can't, we want to keep more. And then when mode of ignorance is prominent, that is the mode most of the time in Kali Yuga, the jivas will be. Like, lazy, procrastination, sleepy, all kind of abominable things we do. So when Lord comes, when Lord performs his pastimes, he is not doing any of his karma, any of his actions under the influence of any of these. Because he is influenced by mode of passion, he is not killing the demons. Because he is influenced by mode of goodness, he is not protecting the devotees. He is above these. So Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter explains that Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Whoever understands that my birth and my actions so divine, transcendental, will not take birth again. So this is something all of us also doesn't know. We might be thinking this is the only birth I have. This is the only birth I have, so I have to enjoy it to the fullest. I have to enjoy it. I have to do everything that I can. But most of us are in ignorance that this is not the only Janma we have. We might have had millions of births. We might have millions. We might have been millions of times as a man, woman, wife, husband, birth. We might have studied millions of times our elementary school, high school, and then again we did the job, and then we did all these things we have done millions of times. So, this human form of life is to find out who we are, who is Supreme Lord, what is my relation with the Supreme Lord, why is that I am going through these kind of miseries? Is there anything more than just eating, mating, sleeping, and defending? Eating, we all do that 3 times a day. Mating, defending, we defend. And sleeping, that is the best thing we do. So these even animals do. All the living entities do these things. Every living entity, it is maybe a just different way. Like our maybe a more sophisticated way. We eat in a more sophisticated way. We do all the other things in a more sophisticated way. But all the living entities do. But the beauty of the human form of life is that it is an opportunity for us to find out who we are, what is my relationship with the Supreme Lord, why I am here, why is the things are happening like that. So we have to use that opportunity and connect ourselves to Supreme Lord. Now coming back to the story, so Mother Lakshmi Devi tells to Brahma that this particular Purushottam Kshetra is very glorious. And this Kshetra will not be dissoluted when complete dissolution or partial dissolution happens at the end of the day of Brahma. So, and she even tells more things. Anybody who spends a night there gets the benefit of reaching a samadhi in yoga. That's what Mother Lakshmi says. Like anybody who spends a night there in Purushottam Kshetra, anybody who even goes there and talks mundane talks, they get the benefit of reciting Vedas. So she explains all these things. Brahmadev gets very, very, attracted to this because it is not there even in his loka. It's not there anywhere in the higher planets also. And then he gets very attracted to that and he forgets his duty of preparing the secondary creation and he goes and sits in this Purushottam Kshetra. So when he goes to this Purushottam Kshetra, and Mother Lakshmi also explains that this particular Kshetra is having a blue mountain, Nilachala. On top of it, there is a banyan tree. Banyan tree, banyan or banyan, my pronunciation, please forgive me for that. So there is a banyan tree, and then on top of this Nilachala mountain, there is a Neelakandara, a cave made of blue gems. And inside that, there is Neela Madhava, made of blue sapphire. Along with Mother Lakshmi is inside that. So this is the particular Kshetra. So she explains the Kshetra, there is a river there is a Rohini Kunda and all those things. So Lord Brahmadev gets very attracted to this and he goes, okay, then I want to go first because we know that in this material universe, nobody can escape from death, even Lord Brahma. That sounds like, but Bhagavad Gita explains that. A Brahma Bhuvana Loka. From the Brahma Loka to the Padala Loka, everybody has to go through birth, death and all. So he goes there and he resides there. And when he goes there and he sees there that there is a lake or a river called Rohini Kunda. So he goes and he sits there. He sees the banyan tree, he sees the Neela Madhava, and he sees that, okay, let me go and take a dip in that Rohini Kunda. He sees that a crow takes dip and converts into a four form of Vishnu and goes back to the Vishnu Loka. Lord Brahmadev gets surprised, like, no, oh, this then again, Mother Lakshmi explains that I've already told you. Anybody here, this Kshetra is very powerful. So anybody who comes here, takes bath in that Rohini Kunda, renders service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, gets liberation. So he sits there and he performs the tapasya or meditation. Then Yamaraja, Lord Yamaraja, he doesn't have any job because nobody is committing any sins. He doesn't have any job. So he goes to Brahmadev and he says, like, no, you are sitting here, you're not doing any creation. There is nobody, no living entities, and then nothing is happening, and I am not having a job. I have been entitled a job to prosecute the peoples for the sins they are doing. After they leave the board, give them due punishments and award them what they are. So then Brahmadev says, let us both go and talk to Mother Lakshmi. So when they both go and talk to Mother Lakshmi explains all these pastimes and she says, like, right now you both don't have any job. But when the time comes, you both have a bigger responsibility to do. So she explains to them, and they both take certain boons from the Supreme Lord, and they both go and then they meditate. So then happens in Satya Yuga. We all know. I will just mention here about the Kalpa because I'm going to refer to that in later in my speech. Kalpa is 1 day of Brahma. This is something I'm telling to myself, most of you know. Kalpa is 1 day of Brahma. In 1 day of Brahma, 14 Manus will come. So we are right now in Vaivasvata Manvantara. So 7th Manu. So in a day of Brahma, 14 Manus will come. And 14 Manus will have 72 Yuga cycles. What is that Yuga cycle? Yuga cycle consists of Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. So these numbers I won't remember, so I have written down. Only Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. So as it goes up, Dwapara is like around 864,000 years, and when it goes to Treta, it is 1.296 million years, like that. So one Yuga cycle is combination of these 4 Yugas, and every Manu has 72 Yuga cycles, and there are 14 Manus. If we do the calculation, a day of a Brahma is called as Kalpa, has 1000 Yuga cycles. So why I am bringing this in Satya Yuga, in one of those Yuga cycles, in Satya Yuga, there is a king called Indradumya. So this king has everything. He is a king. He is materially very, very opulent. He has everybody, good wife. He has everything going good. He has all the people who can listen to him good. Everything is going good. But there is a vacuum in his heart. He is not feeling happy. It again goes back to the point. Most of us might be experiencing this also. Like we have seen this repeatedly in life also. Like in this pandemic situation or even otherwise we see that even after having everything, fame, money, all kinds of opulences, people feel distressed. People feel lonely and they resort to all kinds of things like suicides and all because we could not make that connection to the Supreme Lord. We could not see once reminding everything changes. Anything in this material world changes. Even our body goes through 6 forms of transformation. The only thing that does not change is the Lord, the Supreme Lord. Lord as super soul close in our heart. He doesn't change. But most of our time we spend in making connection with that changes around us, but not with something that does not change, that can give us eternal happiness in any kind of situation. We don't connect to that. I go back to the point, I forgot the point where I came. So that is the vacuum that King Indradumya was having. He's feeling very vacuum. And then one day in his assembly, he gathers all his sages, all his ministers, and he says, is there any place in this material world where I can go, render service to the Supreme Lord and fulfill this vacuum with love and happiness? Is there any place? Is there any place where I can see the Parabrahma, the Purushottam, face to face? Even though, well, when he was asking this question, he is not sure because But again, he's sure because he has seen in the past that Lord comes down. Lord comes down. It is Lord is so merciful. He has nothing to do with this material world. He is eternally there in spiritual world, but he comes in different forms into this material world to help the living entities. The closest he is with us is as a Paramatma, as a super soul inside us. Even anything is closed, temples are closed or anything is closed, we can just close our eyes, go inside and meditate on the Paramatma. So he asked that. He asked that to his sages. Is there any place in this material world where I can go and render service to the Supreme Lord? I want to do that and fill my heart with love and affection and happiness that I can derive by connecting to the Lord. Then one of the sages says, like, I kind of remember, I heard that there is one place called Purushottam Kshetra where Lord exists along with Mother Lakshmi and Garuda, there where you can see the Lord face to face. King Indradumya feels very happy. He says that thank you so much. And then he wants to go immediately, go there, build a temple, render service to the Supreme Lord. Then his head priest says, because we know that before king goes, they have to make all the arrangements. So he says, king, please hold on. I will send my younger brother Vidyapati. He will go and find out that place. He will find out the route and all those things. Then you can go there and you can do the services you want. So he sends his younger brother Vidyapati. Vidyapati goes with all paraphernalia to find out the place, to find a suitable place for the Lord. So Vidyapati goes. He crosses the Mahanadi river, and then he goes to the place, and then it becomes night. He takes rest. He puts up his camp. He takes rest. When he takes rest, and when the next day morning, he hears the conversation of the tribal people there. The tribal people are called as Sabara, and his leader Viswabasu, he's speaking about the glories of the Lord. That tribal people are so fortunate that that Supreme Lord, who is not available so easily, is available to those tribal people. They render service to him every day in that particular Nilachala mountain. So he hears from their conversation about the Supreme Lord Nilachala. And then he makes a friendship, a bond with them, because Vidyapati has come on a mission. He has come on a mission that he has to bring back King Indradumya, build a temple there, and all those things. So he expresses his desire to see Nilachala. And that particular tribal leader says, come with me, I will take to you Nilachala. That is one type of a story, and there is also one more version where it says that Vidyapati was not ready to reveal the Lord. So, sorry, the tribal leader, Sabra leader, was not ready to reveal the temple to Vidyapati. So Vidyapati spends some time there, marries his daughter, makes a bond, friendship with him, and one day he gets pleased and he takes. So while all this is happening, while Vidyapati is going in search of Lord, we have to understand that King Indradumya is fasting. He is fasting until Vidyapati goes and find out where is the Lord, and he can start the service. So we can understand that that is the highest, purest level of devotional which King Indradumya was exhibiting. Because he wants to render service to the Lord unconditionally. He doesn't want anything from the Lord. He just loves the Lord, so he wants to render that service. So Vidyapati takes some seeds, mustard seeds in his hand so that he know that monsoon season is going to come. I'll put these seeds, and then when I come back with king, I can find the way even if this leader doesn't show me the way. So he goes there. He goes there, he sees the Neela Madhava along with Mother Lakshmi inside that Blue Mountain cave, and he faints because Supreme Lord is so beautiful, so attractive, and we have repeatedly heard from Bhagavatam that whichever may be the devotee, Dhruva, anybody, see, they go with the material desire, but as soon as they see the Lord, they forget everything. Because as soon as we see the Supreme Lord, as soon as we make that connection with the Supreme Lord, we as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we feel that Satchit Ananda. We feel happiness. We are fully happy. We are fully knowledgeable. We understand this. I am soul. I am not this body. So anything is related to this body is not going to stay with me eternally. It is going to go away as soon as I leave this body. So I don't have any desire to ask anything related to this body to the Supreme Lord. So same with the situation of Vidyapati. Vidyapati fainted. And Vidyapati and Mother Lakshmi, when she was explaining Brahma, when she was explaining to Brahma and Yamaraja, she says that whoever takes the darshan of this Neela Madhava gets liberation. So even before the king, Vidyapati got the liberation. So that is the beauty of being a part, being an instrument in the service of the Supreme Lord. Like even though we may not be the main person doing, but if we have that sincerity, that mood, that serving as a servant of a Lord, we get the deliverance first. Bhagavatam repeatedly says, when you perform as servant of a Lord, like when you are performing, you get delivered first. So Vidyapati is so happy seeing the Lord. He doesn't need anything. He goes back. He goes back to the tribe, and again it is a night. He has to go back, and this particular leader offers him an opulent prasadam. He gets surprised. You all are tribal people. You are giving an opulent prasadam equal to the kingdom. Where are you getting these kind of things? Even we don't have them in my kingdom. How are you guys getting this? Then that particular tribal leader explains that Devatas, Devi Devatas from higher planets come down and serve Lord in this Kshetra. So we all know this is the only Kshetra in this material universe. It is not there even in the higher planets. So he explains that this is that prasadam. This is that prasadam you are taking. This is Mahaprasadam. So he was about to take that Mahaprasadam, and then he remembers that King Indradumya is fasting to render service. He is waiting for the news that I found out where the Lord is, the route is. So he just takes with him, but he doesn't really, cannot fully relish that because he understands that his king is fasting. So he goes back. King Indradumya feels very, very happy. He sees Vidyapati, he's very happy. He says, like, I'm ready. Did you find the place? Shall we go? Shall we go? Then I forgot to mention one more beautiful point here. When Mother Lakshmi was explaining the Brahma to Brahma and Yamaraja, Yamaraja gets like, that is the mood of the devotees. Like when they are hearing, even though the real story, when they are hearing about the Lord, they wanted to hear more because they are relishing it more. So Yamaraja asks Mother Lakshmi, like, whatever may be the will of the Supreme Lord, you are saying that this Kshetra, nobody is going to be, I don't have any job. So explain to me more about the glory of this place. Why you are calling this place as glorious? Then she explains about Markandeya Rishi. The reason I said Kalpa, we all know Markandeya Rishi has done a tapasya and he got a long life. So what kind of a long life? 7 kalpas. He lived for 7 kalpas. That's the reason I mentioned the kalpa before. He lives for 7 kalpas, 7 days of Brahma. He lives. So what happens at the end of the day of the Brahma? Complete dissolution happens. See, every now and then we hear this news that complete dissolution is going to happen. On in something in 2012 we heard some, and few days back also somebody was saying like in 2 days complete dissolution is going to happen. So that kind of a dissolution is going to happen, but not now. What they are claiming at the end of the Brahma's day. Now it is not still end of the Brahma's day because we are still in the 7th Manu. We have to still go and complete all the Manus also. So when that happens, none of the living entities will be there. So whichever is the living entity make use of the human form of the life, renders in devotional service, gets delivered and goes back to the spiritual world. But there will be certain set of people who are not delivered, who goes back to Mahavishnu, so that he keeps them, so that he can put them, impregnate them with Prakriti for the next creation. So Markandeya Rishi is alone in that waves which are coming as hurricanes. That dissolution is like 1,000 times tsunami. So Markandeya Rishi was alone, was only one person because he has to live for 7 kalpas. He's feeling extreme cold because it is like extreme cold. Those waves are pushing him, and then he's not finding any place to rest. He's hungry. Everything was happening to him. So it takes millions of years for Brahma's night to pass and the creation to happen. So when he was struggling like that, he hears the voice. He hears the voice of the Lord. So what the Lord tells him, there is, do you see that Nilachala mountain? On top of Nilachala mountain, there is a banyan tree. On top of it, on one of the leaves, I manifest as a baby Krishna. Did you all recollect what form of that is? Vatapatra Sai. The baby Krishna on a banyan leaf, did you ever see that picture? he will put his feet in his mouth and he will be sucking. So that is the Lord. And this only one sloka I am reading. Hararavindena padaravindam mukaravindena vinivesyanandam vatasya patrasya puteshyanam balam mukundam manasaswarami. So he says, you will see that form of me. You can go inside my tummy and stay until the creation happens. Because you are feeling extreme cold, you are hungry. So Markandeya Rishi enters into the heart, into the through the mouth, into the belly of that Vatapatra Sai, Krishna in the baby form. He goes there and he sees all the creation in the tummy. And then he comes back. He's like now completely happy. Then he asks, Markandeya Rishi asked for a long life. The material, that is still material. Long life is still material. Devotees of Lord don't want long life. They want to go back. They want to get liberated out of this, right? So he asks Supreme Lord, what do I do now? Until the creation happens, what do I do? Then Supreme Lord says, meditate on me. Remember me. Think about me. Meditate upon me. Pray to Supreme Lord. So Markandeya Mushri meditates on Mahadeva, Lord Shiva, Sadasiva. He meditates on Lord Sadasiva. When he says, Lord Supreme Lord Narayana also tells him, meditate on my other form, my Mahadeva. So he meditates on Mahadeva. Mahadeva gets very pleased by Markandeya Rishi. He comes down along with Mother Parvati, and this Rishi is in Samadhi state. He is fully. When our consciousness gets connected to the Supreme Consciousness, anything at the material level, body level, we will not be aware. If we see in Satyayoga and all, that is how they did tapasya. In Kali Yuga, we are not qualified for tapasya. We can't even sit, I can't even sit for 30 minutes straight without backache. So the rishis used to sit for years, 1,000 years. So then Mother Parvati tells him, you go through his nose inside and sit in his heart. Then he goes inside, sit in his heart. Then Markandeya Rishi, he comes into consciousness. And he asks, what should I do? What should I do? Thank you so much. He gets very pleased because that is what he is meditating to please Mahadeva. And then Mahadeva blesses him that after this all, he will get liberated. And he also gives him a boon that in this particular Purushottama Kshetra, he manifests as Markandeya Mahadeva. There is a temple there. He manifests himself as Markandeya Mahadeva in Puri Kshetra. And Lord Yamaraja also prays to Mahadeva. And there is also one more temple, as Pravesh Prabhu was saying, there are 50 temples. There is one more temple called, I want to say that name correctly, that's why I have written down. It is called as, Markandeya Mahadeva is one temple. And there is one more temple called as, I think Emma, related to the Emma, Markandeya Mahadeva, like Emma Mahadeva, there are two temples there. So this when she was saying this glory, she was explaining that, right? Now coming back to this story, Indradumya Maharaj, Vidyapati goes back there, and Indradumya Maharaj, there is one secret that Sabra leader tells to Vidyapati. I know your king is desiring to serve the Lord face to face, he wants to build a temple here, do everything, but he won't be able to do that. Because Lord Yamaraja has got a boon that he won't be visible to anybody in this particular form. So he won't be able to see. You are very fortunate that you got, but King Indradumya won't be able to see in this form because Lord Narayana has a higher purpose to establish, to manifest himself as Daru Brahma. Daru is wood. So Daru Brahma, and he has chosen King Indradumya for that service. So when King Indradumya comes back, he won't be able to see, but you don't tell him. So you just go and tell the news that you have seen the place. So Vidyapati goes back, tells King Indradumya that I've seen this place, it is ready, we all can go. When King Indradumya and Vidyapati are speaking like that, Narad Muni arrives. Narad Muni, they all pay obeisances to Narad Muni. Narad Muni is the great devotee of Lord. Most of the times, we all have kind of twisted Narad Muni's role, but most of the times, Narad Muni comes to help the devotees of the Lord. Or he knows who can become a devotees of the Lord. Accordingly, he advises. He is guru for so many. Similarly, Narad Muni comes. Narad Muni comes and tells to King Indradumya, I will assist you. You have a desire of building temple, right? I will assist you. I will come with you. So they all decide a good day, Jyeshta Panchami. So So they all go and in a procession, like king goes to that particular Nilachala mountain. He stays there at the night. Then the king of Bhubaneswar, if you all know right now, Bhubaneswar, Puri is like from 15 minutes from Bhubaneswar. So the king of Bhubaneswar, Utkala, comes to Indradumya and said, I know you have a desire of serving the Lord in Neelamada form, but right now there is a hurricane of sand, or like sand tufan going on. Lord is completely covered with golden sand. You won't be able to see him, but I don't want to disappoint you. You still can go to the temple. I can take you to the temple, but you won't be able to get darshan of Lord. So Narad Muni, when King Indradumya gets disappointed, because Narad Muni knows King Indradumya has a higher purpose to perform, and he will be able to perform that higher purpose only when he sees the king, when he sees the Neela Madhav. So he takes him to the temple. King Indradumya don't get the darshan of Neela Madhav. He gets fainted because that is his whole purpose. He wanted to see Neela Madhav, do service, build temple. Then Narad Muni explains to him that you do 1,000 Aswamedha yajnas. You please Supreme Lord Narayana, and he will manifest to you. He will give darshan to you. He never sends the people like without. If you are having a sincere desire of serving the Lord, he will never disappoint you. So on their way to this Neelamadav temple, King Indradumya takes the darshan of the temple that I said, Lord Shiva's temple darshan, and also he takes darshan of Narsimha. There is also a Narsimha temple. So in front of the Narsimha temple, King Indradumya arranges the fire sacrifice and he performs 1,000 Aswamedha yajnas. So after performing those 1,000 Aswamedha yajnas, Supreme Lord Narayana gets pleased and he says that I am going to manifest in 4 forms. That is Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra, Subhadra and Sudarshana Chakra, made out of wood in the form of Daru Brahma, and you build the temple. In building this temple, who is going to assist you? Lord Brahma. So Mother Lakshmi has promised previously that you both have a duty to perform, but I will tell you when it comes. So Lord Brahma comes, and Lord Narayana, the hair from Lord Vishnu falls on the material world, and it develops into a tree called Brahma Rupa, and from that tree wood they make the deities. So when they have to carve now the deities. So then King Indradumya asked Narad Muni, like, how do I carve? Then Narad Muni tells, I don't know the desire of Lord Narayana, how he wants to establish, how he wants to manifest himself. So let us wait for him. Let us start for an indication to do that. Then there comes a carpenter with Supreme Lord's will. He says, give me 21 days. I am going to carve Supreme Lord for you in the 4 forms which he has mentioned. He is going to manifest in those 4 forms. But I have one condition. In these 21 days, nobody should disturb me. None of you should be anxious. What I am doing, what I am not doing, how it is happening. Because this is something we have anxiety when we start a job. We have to do a micromanagement, something like that. So he said, no, nobody should disturb me. So he locks the door, he starts carving out of that wood. After 15 days, the queen Gundicha, wife of King Indradumya, gets very curious. I'm not hearing any sound from inside. Do you think that this carpenter is still alive or something happened to him? She kind of pesters King Indradumya. Come on, let's go and open the door. And when he opens the door, the carpenter leaves and the carpenter stops the carving and Lord manifests in this particular form. If we see, it is not completely formed. You won't see legs properly or ears or something. So the Lord is manifested like that. He wanted to manifest like that. There is a pastime for that also, but I think we are running out of time. I don't go into that now. But so he manifests in that particular form for King, because Queen Gundicha has opened that. So Lord has established in the form of Balabhadra, Subhadra, Jagannath and Sudarshana Chakra. And King Indradumya builds the temple there, glorious temple for Lord Jagannath. And at that time he gets a boon from, this is one point I just want to mention, he gets a boon. What kind of a boon? King Indradumya asks Lord Jagannath, like, Lord Jagannath, as soon as you eat prasadam, Before you even wash your hand and your hand get dries, you have to eat again prasad. You have to bless me like that. So, the another glorious thing, merciful thing of Puri Kshetra is prasadam. So, why we may think like, Lord is so merciful. We know that in for different yugas, there are yuga dharmas. Satya Yuga, you do tapasya. Treta Yuga, you do tapasya. You do deity worship in Dwapar Yuga. In a Kali Yuga is Harinama Sankirtana. The only thing that we have to do is chant holy names of Lord. Even for that, most of us who are doing find lot of difficulty to do it regularly, doing for a longer time. We have lot of difficulties. All kinds of problems come then only. Sleep, backache, office work, something else, something else. We get everything when we sit down to do the puja or when we sit down to do the chanting of the names of Lord. But even the simplest thing we cannot do simple. So Supreme Lord knows that there is something we won't miss at any point of time, and we will be definitely focusing. We will not be sleeping. Most of the times none of us sleep when we are taking prasad, when we are eating. So he has manifested himself in the form of Anna Brahma. So, if we offer prasadam to Lord and eat, even that purifies us. How the holy name of the Lord purifies? The simplest way of purifying us is offering prasadam to Lord and taking that. Even on a busiest day, as soon as we take bath, take a fruit, take a glass of water, put some tulsi, you don't need to say a lot of mantras, lot of slokas, nothing. Just go, put that in front of the Lord. I can only do this much, Lord, today, and then take that as an offering to the Lord, offering as a Mahaprasadam, and take that. Even if we do that, that purifies us. What happens when we get purified? We all know there are three gates of hell in this material world: lust, greed, anger. So we need purification from all this illusion, madness. So the moment we are getting purified by doing this devotional service, we get steadiness in our devotional service. Once we get the steadiness in our devotional service, we get ruchi, we get taste in serving the Lord. Most of the time, we don't have that taste in serving the Lord. We do for the sake of doing. We say the mantras for the sake of saying mantras, or I am desiring something. When we are any distress, when we are desiring, our prayers will be very intense. If any of you noticed, when we are desiring something or when we are in any trouble, our prayers are very, very intense. But as we get purified, we get steady in our devotional service. When we get steady in our devotional service, we will chant the holy names of the Lord very with lot of purification. Any service we do purified with that unconditional, unlimited, without any selfish motive. We serve the Lord. I'm not serving the Lord because I want punya. I'm not serving the Lord to get name, to get fame. I'm serving the Lord because I love Lord. And I want to end with this. Lord Jagannath is so merciful. In any of the temples, Moola Vigraha doesn't come out of the temple. Uchchava Vigrahas come for the Ratha Yatras. Lord Jagannath, Purushottama Kshetra is the only place where Lord Jagannath comes out of. Because this is a simple example we all will understand. If we are little bit sick, we will go and see doctor. When we are like sick, like we can't even move, who comes to see us? Doctor comes to see us. So Lord Jagannath comes out to give mercy to those people who are materially sick, materially busy, don't have time to come to the temple and take darshan of the Lord. Also to those people who cannot take the darshan of the Lord, because Lord Jagannath is Lord of universe. He is not particular to any one person, one caste, one creed, or one thing. So he comes out to give darshan to everybody. He's so merciful that in Puri you can go and embrace the Lord. There is 2 hours of time where the pandas will allow, where we can even go and embrace the Lord. We can get that physical touch. Lord is so merciful. And the another mercy of Lord Jagannath does not have eyelids. He wants to see his devotees 24/7. If you see, there is a redness around his eyes, which shows that he is the most merciful. Any people whose eyes are red, they are very merciful. They connect to you very fast. As soon as they are very compassionate. Lord Jagannath is very, very compassionate. So he is 24/7 for devotees. He only gets 2 hours in Puri Kshetra. The temple gets closed only for 2 to 3 hours. Even in the 2 to 3 hours, it is for Devatas to come and render service. And the third one, the third mercy of Lord Jagannath, as I said, he has manifested, he has established himself as Anna Brahma, offering, taking the prasadam of Lord Jagannath. These three things, he manifests himself in this his most merciful forms, and all of us with that mood, with that substance, with that love to that Supreme Father, to that Supreme Lord, who we are part and parcel, who is just waiting for us to call him out of love, will pull the cart in such a way, put him on the chariot of our heart, our devotion, so that we ask Lord to come and sit in our hearts. I will conclude here. Thank you so much, Chris, for giving me this opportunity, and also to the temple EC if they are watching. Uh, you can all type in any feedback or any comments or any questions. Any mistakes I have done or my mistakes, not from the scriptures or from the previous acharyas I have heard. When I am carrying that message, maybe I have missed, not maybe, definitely I might have missed so much. I try to deliver as much as I remember with my Guru's mercy. Any questions or any comments for the people here want to ask me? Thank you. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai. Thank you.
सर्याप्यामन्तराजाय सर्वस्तो मोदे आत्रमुत्तमः भवति सर्वस्याप्यै सर्वस्य दित्यै सर्वमेव तेनाप्नोति सर्वं जयति just hold it.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Swami Jaya
सर्वेषामास्तिभक्तभावनानां क्षेमस्थैर्यं सर्वेषामास्तिभक्तभावनानां सङ्कल्पभावनानां क्षेमस्थैर्यावधेवीर्यादुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं धर्मार्थकाम्यमोक्ष चतुर्विधा फलपुरुषार्थसिद्ध्यर्थं श्री काश्यपगोत्रोद्भवस्य रोहिणी नक्षत्रे रविकान्तशर्मणः रोहिणी नक्षत्रे जाताय वाणी अन्नपूर्णानाम्याः ऋषिरा नक्षत्रे वेदान्तविष्णुशर्मणः श्रवणनक्षत्रे मकरराशो जाताय जयश्रीनिधिनाम्याः शतभिषा नक्षत्रे कुम्भराशो जाताय गोपिका गायत्रीनाम्याः सह कुटुम्बानां सपरिवाराणां च क्षेमस्थैर्यविजयवीर्यादुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं श्रीजगन्नाथस्वामिनः दिव्यचरणारविन्दयोः कृष्णाष्टोत्तरशतनामार्चनं दृश्ये श्रीमानगोत्रोद्भवस्य अशुभगोत्रोद्भवस्य आकाशशर्मणः शुभनक्षत्रे शुभराशो जातस्य सुधानाम्याः हरितानाम्याः सह कुटुम्बानां सपरिवाराणां सक्षेमस्थैर्यवधैर्यादुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं सर्वांशगोत्रोद्भवस्य काश्यपगोत्रोद्भवस्य रोहिणी नक्षत्रे जातस्य प्रवेशनामधेयस्य शुभनक्षत्रे शुभराशो जाताय सुकान्नानाम्याः राधानाम्याः स्वातिनक्षत्रे तुलाराशो जाताय पार्थनामधेयस्य नक्षत्रे सिंहराशो जातस्य सह कुटुम्बानां क्षेमस्थैर्यवधैर्यादुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं प्रमाणगोत्रोद्भवस्य गुणबलगोत्रोद्भवस्य स्वातिनक्षत्रे तुलाराशो जातस्य भद्रांशर्मणः भामानाम्याः पुरुषादिनक्षत्रे जातायाः सिंहराशो जातायाः वरुणनामधेयस्य प्रणवनामधेयस्य सह कुटुम्बानां क्षेमस्थैर्यवधैर्यादुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं श्रीमानसगोत्रोद्भवस्य वसिष्ठगोत्रोद्भवस्य महेन्द्रशर्मणः मकानक्षत्रे हिमराशो जातस्य श्वेतानाम्याः ऋषिरानक्षत्रे वृषभराशो जातायाः राघवन्नामधेयस्य ईशानाम्याः सह कुटुम्बानां सपरिवाराणां क्षेमस्थैर्य विजयवीर्यादुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं श्रीमानसगोत्रोद्भवस्य वधूगोत्रोद्भवस्य राधाबायिनाम्याः मुरलीनां शर्मणः अश्विनी नक्षत्रे मेषराशो जातस्य प्रतापशर्मणः रोहिणी नक्षत्रे जाताय वृषभराशो जातस्य जयश्रीनाम्याः धनिष्ठानक्षत्रे जातायाः श्रीकरनामधेयस्य कृतिका नक्षत्रे मेषराशो जातस्य श्रीकरनामधेयस्य उत्तरफल्गुनी नक्षत्रे मीनराशो जातायाः जातस्य श्रमानस्य सह कुटुम्बानां क्षेमस्थैर्यवधैर्यादुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं श्रमानसगोत्रोद्भवस्य सावर्णगोत्रोद्भवस्य सन्तोषकुमारनामधेयस्य शुभनक्षत्रे शुभराशो जातस्य सस्मित्ठाकुरनामधेयस्य श्रेयांस्ठाकुरनामधेयस्य श्रमानसगोत्रोद्भवस्य भारद्वाजगोत्रोद्भवस्य उत्तरट्टादनक्षत्रे जातस्य अविनाशसन्तानं नामधेयस्य सह कुटुम्बानां सपरिवाराणां क्षेमस्थैर्य विजयवीर्यादुरारोग्यैश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं धर्मार्थकाम्यमोक्ष चतुर्विधा फलपुरुषार्थसिद्ध्यर्थं श्रीप्रसन्नजगन्नाथस्वामिनः परिपूर्णानुग्रहवाप्त्यर्थं जगन्नाथस्वामिनः दिव्यचरणारविन्दयोस्तोत्रशततुभ्यनामावळि पुष्पार्चनं करिष्ये। ओम श्री केशवाय नमः, नारायणाय नमः, माधवाय नमः, गोविन्दाय नमः, विष्णवे नमः। ओम मधुसूदनाय नमः, त्रिविक्रमाय नमः, वामनाय नमः, श्रीधराय नमः, ऋषिकेशाय नमः, पद्मनाभाय नमः, दामोदराय नमः, श्रीकृष्णाय नमः, कमलानाथाय नमः, वासुदेवाय नमः, ओम सनातनाय नमः वसुदेवात्मजाय नमः पुण्याय नमः लीलामानुषविग्रहाय नमः श्रीवत्सकौस्तुभधराय नमः यशोधावत्सलाय नमः हरये नमः ओम चतुर्भुजातचक्रासीदाशङ्काध्यायुधाय नमः देवकीनन्दनाय नमः श्रीशाय नमः नन्दगोपप्रियात्मजां यमुनादिकसंहारणे नमः बलभद्रप्रियानुजां नमः पूतनाजीवितापहराय नमः ओम शकटासुरभञ्जनानं नन्दव्रजाजनानन्दिने मां सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहाय नमः ओम नवनीतविलिप्ताङ्गानं नवनीतवराहाय नमः मनघाय नमः नवनीतवाराहाय नमः ओम मुचुकुन्दप्रसादकारं षोडशस्त्रीसहस्रेशारं त्रिभङ्गिरे मां मुदराकृतये नमः ओम शुकवागमृताब्धये नमः गोविन्दाय नमः योगिनां पतये नमः वत्सपाटीचराय नमः ओम अनन्ताय नमः धेनुकासुरभञ्जनां तृणीकृततृणावर्ताय यमुनार्जरभञ्जनाय नमः ओम उत्तालतालभेत्रे नमः गोपगोपीश्वराय नमः योगिने नमः कोटिसुरप्रभाय नमः ओम मीनापतये नमः परं ज्योतिषे नमः यादवेन्द्रारं यदुद्वाहारं वरमालिने नमः ओम पीतवासने नमः पारिजातापहारकारं गोवर्धनजलोद्धात्रे नमः गोपालाय नमः ओम सर्वपालकाय नमः मजाय नमः निरञ्जनाय नमः कामजनकारं कञ्चलोचनाय नमः मधुग्ने नमः मुद्रानाथाय नमः द्वारकानाथाय नमः बलिने नमः वृन्दावन्तसञ्चारिणे नमः ओम तुलसीधामभूषणानं समन्तकमणिहर्त्रे नमः नरनारायणात्मकारं कुब्जाकृष्णाम्बरधनाय नमः ओम मायिने नमः परमपुरुषाय नमः मुष्टिकासुरचाणूरमल्लयुद्धविशारदाय नमः ओम संसारवैरिणे नमः कंसारजे नमः मुरारजे नमः नरकान्तकाय नमः अनादिब्रह्मचारिणे नमः कृष्णाव्यसनकर्षकारं शिशुपालशिरोक्षेत्रे नमः दुर्योधनकुलान्तकाय नमः ओम विदुराक्रूरवरदाय नमः विश्वरूपप्रदर्शकारं सत्यवाचये नमः सत्यसङ्कल्पाय नमः सत्यभामारताय नमः जयिने नमः सुभद्रापूर्वचारं जिष्णवे नमः पुष्पमुक्तिप्रदायकाय नमः ओम जगद्गुरवे नमः जगन्नाथाय नमः वेणुनादविशारदाय नमः ओम ऋषभासुरविध्वंसने नमः बाणासुरकरान्तकारं युधिष्ठिरप्रतिष्ठात्रे नमः ओम बर्हिपर्वतंसकारं पार्थसारथ्यम् अभ्यक्तारं गीतामृतमोदते नमः काळीमणिमाणिक्यरञ्जितश्रीपदाम्बुजारं दामोदरां यज्ञभोक्त्रे नमः ओम यज्ञभोक्त्रे नमः दानवेन्द्रविनाशकारं नारायणाय नमः परब्रह्मणे नमः पन्नकाशनवाहनानं जलक्रीडसमासक्तगोपीवस्त्रापहारकाय नमः ओम पुण्यश्लोकारं तीर्थपादारं वेदवेद्याय नमः दयावदये नमः सर्वतीर्थात्मकारं सर्वग्रहरूपिणे नमः ओम परात्पराय नमः मत्स्याय नमः कूर्माय नमः वराहाय नमः नारसिंहाय नमः वामनाय नमः भार्गवरामाय नमः दशरथरामाय नमः ओम बलरामाय नमः श्रीकृष्णाय नमः कल्किने नमः श्रीसुभद्रा बलरामसमेत श्रीजगन्नाथस्वामिने नमः स्तोत्रशतदिव्यनामावळि पुष्पार्चनं समर्पयामि श्रमान्यायाः इष्टकाम्यार्थपरिपूर्ण फलसिद्धिरस्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु सत्या एतानाशयः सन्तु सर्वे जनाः शीघ्रो भवन्तु श्री जगन्नाथस्वामिनः परिपूर्णकृपाकटाक्ष परिपूर्णफलसिद्धिरस्तु उत्तरोत्तर निरन्तर भगवत्कैङ्कर्याभिवृद्धिरस्तु स्क्रीन संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्षो मङ्गलाय तनोहरि सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। ॐ उपचारापदेशेन कृतार्हत्वया अपचारान् सर्वान् क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तम ॐ यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि करिष्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणं वदेवते पापोऽहं पापकर्ताणां पापात् पापावसम्भव त्राहि मां कृपया देव शरणागतवत्सल अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्षरक्षोधनाधरः सर्वाभूतेभ्यो नमः सुभद्राभद्रनामसमेत श्रीजगन्नाथस्वामिने नमः तदक्षपूर्णनमस्कारान् समर्पयामि मनसा विष्णुप्रार्थनां समर्पयामि अनया पूजया सुप्रीता सुप्रसन्ना वरदा भवन्तु सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु हरिः ओम स्वस्ति।
कदाचित्कालिन्दिता कवितिना संगीत करावो
कदाचित्कालिन्दिता कवितिना संगीत करावो
मुदा नारी वदना कमला स्वाद मधुपा
मुदा नारी वदना कमला स्वाद मधुपा
ब्रह्मा शंभो ब्रह्मा मरपति गणेशाचिता पादो
ब्रह्मा शंभो ब्रह्मा मरपति गणेशाचिता पादो
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पादगामी बाबा तुम्हें
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पादगामी बाबा तुझे समय वेणुं शिरसि पाचम कटिनाटे कोलं नेत्रन्ते सहस्रकटाक्षं विनदन्ते
सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावन पसति लीला परिचायो
सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनपसति लीला परिचायो
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन Palina
Asana Pravina Saja Palabhadre Mamina
Patramadhyastha Sakala Sura Seva Vasado
Subhapravasya Sakala Sura Seva Vasado
Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me
Jagannath Swami Nayana Padagami Bhavatu Me
Papara Parasa Jagannath Nirachiro Mani Rama Surata Malapante Rugamukha Surendra Aradhya Shruti Kana Sita Gita Chirito Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Harudo Bhajamba Melita Udeva Patalai Pavam Padam Upakam Yasanaya Kaya Sindhu Sindhu Sakala Jagatim Sindhu Sudaya Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Paramama Peda Kulayata Lokulla Nayano Vasimira Brahmi Chita Charano Nanta Tirsi Asananda Radha Sarasva Gopura Lingana Sutta Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Mayate Rajam Naganata Manikya Bhavam Yate Sambhamyam Sakala Janakambhyam Paramanu Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me यः पठे प्रयता शुचि सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा विष्णुलोकं स गच्छति। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ अष्टकम की
जय।
Thank you all so much for joining virtually for the Jagannath Rath Yatra festival. We are going to conclude the live now. Once again, thank you all so much.